What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back with some Destiny 2 news. And of course, heading into the new year, things have been a little bit quiet for the game, but this week we are getting a new game update. Of course, it's the first one of the new year, and despite that quiet period over the holidays, Bungie do have some big announcements this week about changes to mods in the game, and they're going to be unlocking all endgame mods outside of raid and artifact mods for all players, which is pretty huge. And so we'll touch on that update, as well as changes for reward focusing on vendors. Plus, they have some additional changes to Grandmaster Nightfalls, and so we'll cover those as well as a change to the name of Strand Subclasses, which has just been revealed for Lightfall. There's a New Year's bundle coming up shortly too, and we've got details about supposed events in Season 20, plus a couple of other things to touch on in the video. And so, guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this one. If you do, be sure to get subscribed for more Destiny content. But without further delay, let's get into it. And so very initially, we should speak about the first update of 2023. And Bungie help tweeted upcoming Destiny 2 maintenance for Hotfix 6303. The timeline is January 11th, starting at 8 AM PST. And today players will be removed from the game at 8:45 AM PST, where they log in at 9 AM. And so that's going to be a little bit of downtime immediately before the daily reset, and that'll ultimately be followed by the hotfix itself. And Bungie on Twitter went on to say, as a preview of things to come in Lightfall, we have some exciting updates coming soon, and tomorrow, all standard armor mods are unlocked for everyone, and with big changes coming to build crafting in Lightfall, we want to give everyone a chance to enjoy all mods in their current state. And so obviously this is sounding like a pretty big change, and they confirmed on Twitter that the only armor mods that won't be unlocking are those acquired through raids and the seasonal artifact. Obviously that is a pretty huge pool of mods. It includes all of the well mods, the elemental mods, Warmind cell mods, and more of the mods that you can see on screen, and they're no longer going to be tied to very rare chances at Ada 1. So that's a pretty important change because of course these mods make some of the most powerful builds in the game, and if you didn't collect them in their opening season, or by other means very early on, it's been really difficult to acquire them. And that's been frustrating for a lot of players because they're part of many of the strongest builds in Destiny. So it's kind of absurd that it was this way for so long, but again, this change will be pretty huge. They haven't outlined at this precise moment exactly how they'll be acquired after the update, possibly through vendors or through one of the archives in the game, so I'll be sure to keep you posted, but if you've been unable to make certain setups because of a lack of access to these mods, then hopefully that will no longer be an issue. It's interesting as well because Bungie also say that this is a preview of things to come, and so it seems likely that acquiring similar mods in future will be much more reliable at least. There may still be some amount of grind behind it, but hopefully they'll have a specific drop source. And this no doubt ties into the mod manager that we're going to see in the new expansion as well. Of course, we're also getting the in-game build options. So there's definitely a connection to upcoming changes there, but Bungie also said that they want everyone to have a chance to try these mods in their current state, which is interesting wording, and quite possibly indicates some changes to how many of the mods will work in February. Even the possibility of removal or replacement of certain mods, although that isn't confirmed by Bungie. But give us your thoughts down below, and hopefully this will mean that moving forward, accessing mods and perks, which are pretty meta, will be a more consistent experience. So share your thoughts in the comments section, but next, Bungie outlines some changes to focusing and rewards. And they say get ready to focus up. Starting next week, focusing costs for all Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, Crucible, and Gambit weapons and armor will be reduced to 25 legendary shards, with the cost for adept weapon focusing being reduced to 50. That's another positive change, and of course, Bungie also outlined that when Lightfall releases, they're looking for ways for players to earn older Crucible armor sets through focusing, and they previously announced legacy focusing for Trials, Nightfalls, and Iron Banner. And that's where they hinted if you've been asking for the return of the Exile armor set or eyeballing some older Iron Banner pieces, the plan is to have those available once again beyond Season 20. So not only will they return in some form, but of course the costs associated with grabbing them are going to change. So another positive overall right there. But finally, for updates today from Bungie, they finished by saying that Grandmaster Nightfalls arrive on January 17th, and in the next update, the Grandmaster power cap and structure will become more approachable for all players, while remaining some of the most challenging content. And we can expect more details in this week's TWAB. And of course, that's the first TWAB of 2023 as well. And this follows this kind of interesting trend of making power level ever so slightly less important in the game. And they've said while they want Grandmasters to continue to be difficult and challenging content, they want to make it more approachable, so more players are going to be able to get access to GMs. There'll be less of a kind of lockout based on the gear and the power that you have. So we will get more details about that shortly, but of course we now know the full rotation for weapons from Grandmasters and Nightfalls in general this season. And with GMs kicking off next week on the 17th of January, Inside Terminus will be the featured strike, and Mindbender's Ambition will be the featured weapon drop. Then on January 24th, we'll see the Scarlet Keep, and that'll be dropping the Horror's Least Pulse Rifle. Then the 31st of January will be Birthplace of the Vile, and that'll have the Hung Jury, with Malicious Birthright dropping from the Corrupted following that on the 7th of February. Then for the 14th of February, it'll be the Glasswave Strike dropping DFA, and finally on the 21st of February, Warden of Nothing will return, and that'll drop the Wendigo Grenade Launcher. But of course there'll be the opportunity, if it's Grandmaster specifically you're working on, to get access to any of those through the catch-up. So a good few positive changes coming to the game very soon right there, and again feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. Up next though, a very quick update for Lightfall, and Bungie have changed the names of 2 of the Strand subclasses in the expansion. So on their website, initially the Warlock was listed as the Architect, but in the past day or so that's actually been updated, and Warlocks are now going to be called Broodweavers. The description is the same, it actually reads Architects effortlessly manipulate the weave, but obviously the subclass title in itself for Warlocks will be Broodweaver. And then where the Titan was called the Tyrant, that name has been updated to the Berserker. Super predictable Titan name right there. Although the title for the Hunter, the Threadrunner, remains the same at the moment. And so we now have Broodweavers, Threadrunners, and Berserkers. I would say those updates are actually a slight improvement on the original ones that were listed. So just a small change right there, and obviously Bungie are updating their marketing materials to reflect what they've done in development. A final couple of things we can expect in the next week though. Recently we discussed a bundle inside of the database, which is the Year of the Rabbit bundle, and this contains 3 Lunar New Year accessories. It's actually going to be Chinese New Year next Sunday, the 22nd of January, so possibly at the reset next week this will become available. And the bundle itself will contain a new Ghost shell, the Lunar Lagomorph shell, pretty cool Jade Rabbit themed shell right there, but then as additionally the Moonshadow Hop exotic ship, as well as the Rabbit's Chase exotic sparrow. But on top of that there's a Jade Rabbit emblem, the Jade's Burrow, which is unlocked by a special offer, probably linked to that bundle in one form or another. And so if you're after some extra swag with the reset next week, and of course Chinese New Year, be sure to look out for that bundle in the game. The very final mention we have for today though, one that we've touched on a few times, but Stadia players, Bungie help warn, they need to activate cross-save now, as on January 18th, Stadia will fully shut down and players will lose access to their Destiny 2 characters. I believe Stadia has actually technically shut down already, but they have pointed out that players still have the opportunity to save those characters until January 18th. And so, sorry to repeat myself, but maybe a valuable shout for anyone who's missed the news for the past couple of months, you never know. And for today guys, that is what we have to speak about in the video. So as always, I hope this has been useful. Give us your thoughts on all of the changes we're going to see in the next day or so. And as always, I'll be keeping you posted with more Destiny news. So be sure to get subscribed. And if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating down below really does help us out on the channel. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.